how my journey began. It's graduation time. Family is very important to me, including my puppies. The Marine Corps played a huge role in my life and allowed me to be ambitious, inspiring, a mentor, and achieve all of my goals. As a financial expert, I've received multiple awards, done various events as a guest speaker all over the U.S. with my platform of creating healthy financial habits, along with having my own business, all leading up to my show. Come along for the journey.
Hello, Gems, and welcome. As you know, for the month of March, we are continuing with the theme of highlighting the achievements of women in different industries. For the final episode in March on redefining the role of women, before I introduce you to mine and your favorite uncle, let's go over a few financial statistics. Statistics show the number of women CEOs of Fortune 500 companies to be 41, yay, as of 2020. 57.4% of women participate in the labor force compared to 69.2% of men. So we're still a little bit behind when it comes to the workforce, but we're definitely catching up. The US fertility rate is down, yet more women are mothers. These statistics come from groups of women who have advanced degrees, are over the age of 40, and who have never been married. 55% of never married women ages 40 to 44 have at least one child. From the year 2019, 56% of females were seeking higher education as opposed to only 44% of males. 27% of women are stay-at-home mothers, and stay-at-home fathers have rose from 4% to 7%. Now, our guest today is my favorite uncle. We chat every single day about anything and everything. He's one of my favorite and biggest supporters, encouragers, and cheerleaders. I thought to myself, everyone should have a favorite uncle. Why not share mine with you? Now, his favorite female figure growing up is the icon Madonna, because she doesn't care what anyone thinks about her, and she lives life through her own rules. He's learned courage and emotional strength from the females around him. His favorite music group, female music group, is the Pussycat Dolls. A favorite female actress is Angela Bassett because of her versatility and roles. And his favorite memory of his favorite niece, me, is our first Thanksgiving together that we shared here in Delaware. Now, Gems, let's give a fierce, fun, and fabulous welcome to my favorite uncle and your new favorite uncle, Scott, to the show. Hi, favorite uncle.
Favorite niece.
How are you?
I'm good today. How are you?
I am doing well. As always, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So let's just go ahead and get started. We have a lot of juicy topics to talk about concerning women because women are doing it. We are breaking the glass ceiling and we are doing such amazing things. So let's go ahead and get started. Why don't we? Women are redefining gender and society roles and taking charge of their own life. What are some of the ways we have seen this shift in society? So one of the ways we've seen this shift is women are staying in school longer to obtain higher education, would you say?
Yes, they definitely are. They're staying in school, they're getting their PhDs, they're getting their doctorate, they're moving it along in education, and it's giving them the opportunities that they might not otherwise have had before.
Absolutely. Go ahead. I was going to say, I've seen a lot of my girlfriends who are, they're around my age. We're fabulous and in our 40s, but they're going to school to get their PhD. They're going back to get maybe a second bachelor. So we are extending our education and seeking higher education. Before, when maybe women were just going to high school and are just maybe seeking one degree and then going into the workforce and or getting married and starting children. One of the other things that we've seen as well is the divorce rate has increased and is making women the primary income earner for their household. So, you know, you may have gotten married right out of high school, even through college, and then the divorce rate's going up, and you're finding yourself having to be, through no fault of your own, but the primary caregiver and income earner of your household. Have you seen that as well?
I've seen that actually. I've seen friends of mine go through getting divorced, go through having a single parent, and they're getting their degrees, they're getting their PhDs, they're getting better positions for themselves, they're moving into they're breaking those glass ceilings, and they are doing it for themselves. It's fantastic to see. I love it.
Right. So when we're talking about the divorce rate, it's one of those things, you know, even like when we looked at through COVID, I think it was on one of my other shows, and we've seen a lot of people who were getting divorces, even through, you know, through COVID, the 2020. And that again is shifting people's the income source. And not only, of course, the man becomes the primary income earner, and now also the female becomes the primary income earner. So there's that shift in income and finances, whether you wanted to be the primary income earner or not. Now you are, and all of those roles and responsibilities of the household are now on you. There's no more splitting of the bills, splitting of either the rent or the mortgage. It's 100% of you. What are your thoughts on that?
We saw a lot of divorces in 2020, and we're probably going to see a lot of divorces in 2021. People are stuck in the houses again, and they're seeing their husbands, and they're going, you know, hey, this is not really what I want anymore, and boom, the breakups are happening, the divorces are happening, and the woman's out on her own figuring out what she wants to do. But you know, women are stronger than we think that they are,
Yes.
and sometimes it's a blessing in disguise. You go out there, you pursue something that you always wanted that maybe you didn't feel you could pursue when you were in this marriage, and
Yes.
you end up in a better place than you started.
I love that because, you know, a lot of women, like you just said, we're stronger than what we are. And sometimes we have the tendency to put our goals off and our ambitions when we get into a marriage and or start having children. And then, you know, unfortunately, a divorce may happen and you're finding yourself saying, you know what, I used to like this. I used to want to be this. Why not recreate myself and take care of those dreams and aspirations? So definitely love that. Another one of the ways that we are seeing this shift in women is military widows. Of course, being in the military, you see a lot of younger military widows, especially, of course, during the time when we were going to Afghanistan and Iraq and any of those previous conflicts that we're in. It left a lot of women widows at such early young age. And I mean, early is between the ages of, let's say, 18 and 30. Whereas you were dependent on, you know, your spouse or significant other to have the primary income, the military income. And now you find yourself as a widow. Yes, you may still have a little bit of that income, but a lot of it is on you, that happily ever after and wanting to, you know, maybe do a full 20 years and kind of, you know, be supportive of your significant other while they're in the military is kind of gone. So being able to say, okay, now what do I do? Do I go back to college? How do I find a job? Because it's no longer, and this is another thing me and you've talked about as well. It's no more just finding these 20 hours a week jobs. No, 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 no. Now we have to do 40 hours a week because you have to support yourself and your family. Tell me a little bit about that. What are your thoughts?
It's not that little 20 hours a week at the you know, at the five and dime or at the dollar or at the dollar store or something like it used to be. You have to go out and you have to find yourself a career, a
Yes.
real career now. And you know, first of all, I'd like to say I'm sorry for those that have lost their spouse in the military. That's very sad and that's very
Yes.
unfortunate. But you know, it leaves them sort of stark out there where they have to go and they have to find something, and you know, you have to find a new career, and that puts you in a whole different frame where,
Right.
you know, you have to find something that you enjoy, you have to find something that's going to fulfill you, and that puts them out in the workforce. And my thoughts on that are, it can be hard, it can be difficult, but ultimately it can be worthwhile too. You may find something that you really enjoy and that you want to spend your life doing.
Absolutely. And, like I said, our support, our condolences, and our sincerity goes out to all of the widowers, both male and female, from any of the conflicts. And nothing is difficult. It's one thing to go through a divorce and find yourself single. It's another thing to become a widow. And that is so huge. And we were seeing a lot of that. Another one of the ways that we're seeing how women are becoming the primary breadwinner and or seeking different positions, because women now are putting off marriage and children till older ages. I've seen, on my timeline, on my social media, women are getting pregnant for the first time, late 30s and early 40s, if not into their mid 40s. So we're definitely putting it off and saying, wait a minute, I got a few things I need to do before I bring another life into this world. Like, let me make sure I can take care of me and all of this before we bring, a child into this. And have you seen that as well?
I have seen a lot of this actually. And I had to say, I love it because one, women aren't depending on a man to decide what they want to do with their lives anymore. It's not this whole graduate high school, graduate college, get married, have a baby, start a family. It's no. I have my career goals. I have my things that I want to do. Maybe I want to do them with you. Maybe I want to do them without you. Maybe I'm going to be a CEO of a company and go IVF and have a baby. They get to create their own happily ever after now. It's a different world now, and I love seeing that. They are putting off having children until a little bit later and deciding, I want to have my life in a secure place so that when I bring my child into this world, they have a whole life ready for them.
Absolutely. And we're seeing that women more, we don't want to do the struggle. We're not trying to struggle. We're not trying to be on assistant programs. There's nothing wrong with assistant programs, but not to kind of break those generational curses, as they're called. If you were a part of that system growing up, we're saying, hey, you know what? With me, I want to do something a little bit different. Should I need it at some point in my life? That's okay. But I don't want to just have a child at a younger age when I know I'm not ready. They're just really, making sure everything that lists is ready. So when the baby comes, they always say you're never ready for a baby, but you can at least mark off some of those, the check marks on the list. So applaud to the women who are making their careers and making sure that they themselves are together as well. So another thing go ahead.
It makes them a wonderful role model for their child, because when their child grows up and they see that they have done this for them, they will do this for their child.
Yes. Because it creates an atmosphere of this is okay. This doesn't have to be this is what I had to do. No, this is okay. If you want to start early with your family and marriage, you can, but there's nothing wrong with doing it later on in your life as well. Both of those scenarios are okay. And whichever one you decide to choose is okay. It's just fine. Like, we're not going to beat you up on it. You're just a mother. If the first time you're having a mother at age 43, 44, or 45, then if you were to have a child at age 20, 21, 22, you're still a mother. It's okay. So
it shows them that there are options and they have choices, and that's always a wonderful thing.
Absolutely. And another thing that we're seeing too, are women are breaking into more dominant male industries. We're seeing more opportunities for women. In the technology fields, 25% of computer roles are by women. Of course, in the finance field, what I do, 32% are female financial advisors. In the sports arena, we saw, even with the Super Bowl, female referees. So females account for roughly 40% of general managers, 50% are coaches. And this is from high school all the way up into, the pro arenas, the female basketball teams and all of those. And 54% are athletic trainers. So those numbers still may seem low to people, but we have to understand at one point that number was 0. And we didn't see females in these areas, and I picked the two most or three most dominant areas that we see them in. And so we've created these opportunities for women. So what are your thoughts on that?
Women who code, I love it. We're
Yes.
seeing we're seeing more women in the technology industry, and I think that is fantastic, because there was a time where there was zero and it was all men, and now we're seeing women get into it, and they are bringing things to that industry that we have never seen before. We're seeing women referees now. I think that's fantastic to see them in the sports arenas. I think it's great that we're seeing women break these glass ceilings where we had never seen them before. It is wonderful. I enjoy it. I think it's time. I think it's past time. And you know, we they bring things to these fields that are necessary, that are useful. They bring a mind and a presentation that we did not have before.
Right.
And it shows strong women are capable, and that, you know, when you bring another eye to these previously male dominated fields, you bring something that they needed.
Yes, and it's, you hit on a few really really good points. Women bring a different perspective, a different intellectual capacity, the way that we think that's different from men, and just a different view on whatever it is. I know you and I have spoken before, many many times before. I tell everybody we talk all the time. But the shift for me is, kind of sort of with society shifting. You're seeing a lot of things across all industries. You're seeing more females that are getting more awards. You're seeing more females that are breaking all kinds of glass ceilings. And it through no fault of America, it's like we are pushing that standard to say, hey, we can do it. Stop saying we have to be on the sidelines, and we can be the CEOs, we can be the presidents, we can be the founders of these businesses, because we bring so much to the table just by being women. And I love and appreciate that as well.
We just saw Beyonce do something that no one has ever done. We saw her win more Grammys than anyone, male or female,
Male or
has
female.
ever had in the Grammys ever.
Yeah, 28. She's at 28 now. And her husband, Jay-Z, yeah, he holds the record for the most Grammys by a male rapper artist as well. He's at 23. So yes, I say that for him because he's doing stuff for, his genre as well. But his wife, because we're talking about how women take over. I'm just saying, Beyonce said, yeah, my boo is good, but I could do it better. You know what I'm saying? I could do it better. I see you over there, but I see you and raise you to 28. You see me, you hear me? Like, it's just one of those things that's phenomenal. And it shows the power and the persistence, the courage that women have to just stay the race. You don't become the CEO of any industry overnight. You are going up through the ranks to finally get there, so someone can acknowledge you and say, I pick you. I want you to run this company. And that's huge. So I love that. So speaking of men, some men's reaction to women taking over positions that were once only held by men is, they really don't have the best type of reactions. We've seen some doubt in their leadership, some sexism, some male chauvinist, the machismo type of attitude, the overall stereotype of this is how it's always been and this is how it's going to be. Let's talk about those for a second.
Men sometimes have a very difficult time letting women in the door. They're used to their boys club. They're used to well, men have always done this a certain way, and shutting women out of it. They've had literally their boys clubs.
Right.
Where women haven't been invited in, where they've done their business in there. And now they don't know what to do when women have stepped in the door. Well, oftentimes women step to the door and they have new perspectives and new ideas, and sometimes better ideas of how to run things. And when they come in those doors and they bring their ideas with them, sometimes it'll show the men up, because sometimes I'll say it, they've gotten a little bit lazy because they've gotten used to not having anybody come in that door.
Mm-hmm.
And the women come hungry and they come in ready. and they come in with some ideas, and they come in with a fresh perspective.
Absolutely. And, just seeing the doubt and go ahead.
There's no room for the male chauvinism when that happens.
No, there's definitely no room. There's no room for self-doubt of females and doubt in leadership. Sometimes, and I've seen this, of course, throughout my careers, both on the civilian and the military side, is you're given these leadership, but then men doubt the fact that you can lead. They doubt every single thing that you can say, and still having to prove of yourself as a woman that I got here because of my skills, because of my talent, because I'm great at what I do. I beat out all of the competition to get this position. You need to respect who I am and what I bring to the table. I shouldn't always have to come to the table and prove why I need to be here, because you know why I'm here. And it's just really getting that respect. And again, this is not male bashing, because there's definitely some men who sing women praises from here to the end of the earth. But there's still quite a few who just doubt, oh, can she really do that? I remember reading an article when they were talking about female coaches in the NFL, or just coaches anywhere, especially obviously the teams are dominant. We'll just say football. And it's just like, well, when is she going to talk to them if they're in the locker room? She can talk to them in the locker room. It's called putting on your clothes. How about you put on your clothes and at least put on some shorts, and she can come and talk to you. You don't have to be butt naked. I dare say you're not butt naked when your male coach talks to you. Have some decency about yourself and respect and professionalism for who it is. People look at these gender roles and say, well, how is she going to do this?
Well, and I'm going to say this, even if they're butt naked, who cares?
Right.
She's there to do her job.
She's there to do your job. Shame on you if you want to be butt naked, but stop assuming that she's going to see what you have and then get blindsided by that. No, sweetheart, I see that all the time. That has zero effect on me on my job. I am not here for that little thing that you have. So can we talk about what happened and why we lost the game?
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Bring the next one.
Thank you. You save that for your groupies outside. I don't need to see, and I don't want none of it. So, always making it seem that women, we're just so objectifying that we just have to have you, or we just want you for this. We don't know how to act if we were in a boardroom with nothing but men. How would we carry ourselves? How would we, is she going to wear a skirt? Does she know how to do this? How about you learn how to be professional? Mm-hmm. How about you learn how to respect others, regardless of who they are, but specifically because we're talking about women, how to respect women. I think you and I talked about this the other day. I think it was just yesterday. And what was I saying? I was saying something about, what was it? We were talking about, being a mentor and everything. You expect so much more from a man, right? Like, well, he should be, a mentor, and I would want my child to look up to them. It should still be the same mindset if a female were in that role. Your mindset should still be, she's still a mentor, she's still a leader, she's still someone I would want others to look up to as myself. So breaking down those stereotypes and all of those, oh my goodness, I can't stand them. All the, like you said, the boys club. So with all doing that, what we want to do is create a new norm, right? So this is good because younger girls are encouraged to follow their dreams. We're creating a new happily ever after. You said that before. And by that, Jim, we mean sometimes, for women, I've had plenty of people ask me, well, didn't you want to just be married and have kids when you were a little girl? Doesn't every little girl dream about her wedding day and what color she's going to be in? Don't you already have your kids' names picked out? Because that at one time was a female's happily ever after. And so now we're changing that happily ever after to be whatever it is that you want it to be. We're teaching younger women self-love, self-confidence. We've stripping away the body shaming. We're seeing more plus models, seeing more plus just artists and musicians and actresses on a whole, men are loving women curves more now that women are changing the narrative because we love ourselves and we are now projecting that out. So men are just saying, no, I like it where a little meat on the bone. Thank you, I love it. So how do you feel about that? Creating the new happily ever after.
I love that women are deciding what beauty is now, and that women are deciding what the happily ever is, what the happily ever after is now. That it's not about the man deciding, well, this is what your beauty is. And they're saying, no, 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 this isn't what beauty is. This is what beauty is.
Yes.
This is who I am. This is what I want. And if you want to be a part of it, then that's fantastic. But if you don't, I can move on and find it somewhere else.
Yes.
But this right here, this is who I am, sweetheart.
Yes.
This. It puts them in a whole new position of power. It gives them a new position of empowerment. It gives them a new position of happiness, and it diversifies what they want.
Yes.
And it's not the same, because I know women whose happily ever after doesn't involve marriage.
Mm-hmm.
It may involve a man, it may not involve a man, it may involve another woman.
Right.
And it may not look the way everybody expects it to, but their vision is what they see it as. It's something that they talk with their partner about. It's something they that is very different than it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
It has options. It has different meaning to it, and it means something to them.
Yes, I like that. And what we're doing is we're taking away what a man's idea of a woman should be and allowing a woman to achieve and create her own identity, self-esteem, confidence, character, and to call the shots because she's creating her new happily ever after. I love that. So one of our important categories, and we're definitely not going to leave them out, is the stay-at-home mothers. Love them. So women and society, yes. Women and society are changing the way we view stay-at-home mothers and acknowledging that they have valuable experience that equates to career credentials. I mean, because stay-at-home moms, I always say, I don't know if I could do that because I need a stay-at-home dad because they are transportation chefs, childcare, housekeepers, teachers, mentors, counselors, coaches, disciplinaries, secretaries, shoppers, organizers, schedulers, and a successful life partner. And there's still some other things that I know I forgot. So we can't leave them out as well. You know, stay-at-home mothers, you know, those credentials equate to a dollar sign in the workforce. So at one time, you know, we used to say, oh, there's a stay-at-home mom, you know, no, they're definitely valuable and they definitely have, matter of fact, they have more credentials and more experience than a lot of other people who are out there with their resumes. Speak on that.
Let me tell you, I revere stay-home mothers. They keep an entire household and the lives in it together.
Yes.
And they manage to do it and make it look so simple, but it's not. They've got a million things rolling around in their head every day and a million things they have to keep just moving on time, moving along without anything falling apart. They don't get sick days. They don't get vacation days. It's just a 365-day-a-year grind. I don't know how they do it. I couldn't do it. I know I couldn't do it.
Right.
And they're amazing. They are goddesses.
They are. And, you know, I applaud them because I have plenty of my females who are stay-at-home mothers. And I applaud them because I'm like, you are a mini CEO. You are the founder, the supervisor, and the president. All of this of keeping, like you said, not only your life, and people forget this, but the lives of everybody else in that household. You're our supervisor, just like you go to work and you have a team of people that you are responsible for. They have their team of family members that they're responsible for. Like you said, on a day-to-day basis, 365 days a year, 24/7, it does not stop. We need mom. So definitely didn't want to leave mothers out because your stay-at-home mothers are phenomenal. Phenomenal. So, Gems, it's time for your financial tips. Your financial gems for today are learning to value yourself will teach others how to value you. Being the primary income earner in the household is a leadership role and becoming the standard, not the exception. More education potentially opens doors for women that were once closed in the past. You do not have to be the first woman to break the glass ceiling, but you sure can be the next woman to make sure it stays open. I love it. Your credentials, whether you are a stay-at-home mother or working in the corporate realm, are significant and profitable. Gems. It is our show custom to have every guest provide our gems with an inspirational quote. Favorite uncle, what is your personal inspirational quote you would like to share with us today?
My inspirational quote today actually comes from Margaret Thatcher. If you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Because women get stuff done. I love it. Well, thank you for being my favorite uncle and the guest on our show today and being part of our journey.
Thank you for inviting me. I, as usual, had a wonderful time.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Gems, creating healthy financial habits is a lifelong commitment. Remember, without change, there be no butterflies. Changing habits, changing lives, and changing futures are all up to you. Until next time, Gems, take care.